All right, you guys, this is my crew right here, Somerset Canyons, extra large non-tumble. If you're looking for us at UCA, we are varsity co-ed non-tumble, and we are JV all-girl non-tumble. And here I go. I'm Coach O'Neal. Normally I'm on camera, but today I'm actually in the bed. But I was inspired to do this cleanup video because I've been talking with my friend Megan from Ozark. Hey, girl. So because she basically walked me through how to clean my routine, I feel like this will be pertinent information for anyone who is interested in knowing how to actually clean your routine without wasting a lot of time. All right, so first I'm just gonna start with our mini pyramid. So this is our mini pyramid. I know you're watching. We got the pirouette. You saw it halfway made it around on the left side. Our brace had to finish it. We're not finishing at the top. Spins, double dragons. One side didn't even go. The other side looks pretty decent. Middle just came crashing down. Hot mess, right? Exactly. I did not choose this by accident. Now, before I actually get into what I actually said to my team and how I started cleaning up, let me say this. When you are picking out your skills that you're going to do, make sure, yes, you want difficulty, but you want things that they can execute. Because even if you go for difficult skills, if it does not look like your team can execute them, then you're never going to get all of those points. This right here was my varsity co-ed score sheet from this past weekend. And execution wise, you see we scored a 13 or 13.7. And then for jumps, we scored a 4.1. And then with difficulty, we scored a 7.4, a 8.3. And then for jumps, we scored a 3.9. Now, granted, we did not perform the skills that you just seen in the previous video for UCA because that's our state's routine. We watered down our routine so that we could get, just medium difficulty, but really focused a lot on execution. But since I've seen the UCA score sheet and I've seen FHSAA score sheet, I now can see exactly what the judges see. They do not want to see a bobble. They do not want to see halfway finished grips. They do not want to see you at a prep trying to push it up. They want to see you smack it at the top confidently. So I had a talk with my team. That talk went a lot like this. If that stunt comes down, if my flyer do not have their hips to the front, if my bases are not fully extended and catching at the top, then we are going to do bear crawls and burpees. Because every single count has a motion. Every single thing is on a count. Stop disrespecting my counts and do the skills on the counts. If the skills are too hard for you, we will water them down. Hit my stunts so that we can move on. I then proceeded to ask my flyers, do you know what position your body is supposed to be in? Bases, do you know where you're supposed to catch? Everyone, do you know where you're releasing? Bracers, do you know what you're supposed to grab? Everybody said they knew, but I walked them through it just in case they were lying. And after we spent time cleaning the routine and learning the counts, here's what happened. Now, let's run this back just for clarity purposes. The pirouettes are new, so we are still working on those body positions. But it is your bracer's job to make sure that your flyer stays still and is in place. Flyers, just you have to squeeze your body, but depend on your bracer to do their job. Double dragons, we're working on keeping our feet together, and we're also working the timing of those pins on the way back up. And then with the dismounts, as you can see, the group on the left went a little bit early, so the timing was still slightly off, but much cleaner than before. Y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but we did that mini pyramid at least 17 times. Now here we have our straight up hill stretch where we work on execution and just show our body position. As you can see, certain groups come down before the others, so we had to slow it down and do it all together again. Right here, you will see that they start to get a little bit frustrated because they're saying the count's louder and one group still comes down earlier. Relax, calm down, take a beat. If you don't take this time at practice to clean it up so that it can look the way you want it to look on competition day, then it's going to show up on the mat, which will then show up on your score sheet. We did this stunt at least 20 times just to make sure they understood when to pull their heel stretch, when to let their leg down, and when they were supposed to dismount. Now, this happened to be my junior varsity all girls score sheet, but as you can see, our execution was a 14, a 13.7, and a 4.1. Those jumps really got to get better. But our difficulty was lower because we did do easier skills with the junior varsity non-tumble. However, execution wins. Execution is worth 15 points. And if you can get things that execute, you will score higher on the execution side, which has the most value anyway than the difficulty side. So yes, you might have to sacrifice your difficulty, but your execution is going to be where you win championships. So if you could be difficult and execute, kudos. If you're difficult and not executing, you're going to end up below those that are actually simpler and executing because execution is worth more. In the words of my friend Megan from Ozark, hey girl, execution wins any day. Just keep in mind, everyone has to look the same, move the same, build the same, dismount the same. It's a team effort. So make sure you spend time on making a uniform look. So after going through every single piece of the routine, every single count, making sure everybody knew we turn on 5, head 7, literally going through every piece of the routine, every little detail, making sure everybody knew their part, we finally made it to our ending pyramid. And I know you're thinking, what happened to the rewinds? Hopefully they make an appearance again. But right now, this is what we're working with. And as you can see, we are all over the place. So we had to break down this pyramid, just make sure everybody knew their counts, make sure everybody knew when they were dismounted, make sure everybody knew where their hands were supposed to be. And after we walked through it step by step, it looked a lot better. I have no idea why my bracer is not directly over my back spot, but we gotta fix that. Don't know why that middle group is moving so much. That's something we gotta focus on as well. Spin was nice. Let's see. Middle group went down first, so timing was an issue. Let's keep going. All right, so let me interrupt this to just say this. If you already have a dream team that you want your team to look like, whether it's Wellington, the Queens of Clean, we have to go against Wellington. So even if we were throwing the same skills as Wellington, it's not going to look the same because Wellington, Queens of Clean, okay? So knowing that I have to go against Wellington, and Wellington is one of my dream teams, there's nothing wrong with me reaching out to Coach Heather to be like, hey, how do y'all get so clean? And they always have an answer for you. Literally, the way I met Ozark, I had been fanning out over them on Instagram for a complete year. And when I ran into them at Nationals, they was actually like doing like a team circle. And Megan looked and saw the SE on my chest and was like, oh my gosh, Somerset Kings. And I was like, oh my gosh, Ozark. And literally, she invited me into the circle so I can watch their kids stunt and I can see how they teach their kids grips, techniques, solid feet, all of that good stuff. If you know that you have a dream team that you want to emulate, reach out to them and ask them for tips versus trying to make your own version of that dream team because you're never going to be able to do it. You need their expertise to get to their level. Same thing with my homegirl Sarah Kate. When we went to Hudson and we watched them perform, I didn't care if we was gonna miss our warm up. My kids was going to watch Plant City because they needed to see Plant City be Plant City, and Plant City smacked. My kids have been talking about their routine ever since we left Hudson, and we watched them all the time so they can see being clean, being sharp, and executing is doable. You just have to know the recipe. And Sarah Kate told them herself, one thing at a time, one count at a time. As you finish one thing, check it off, turn the page. And they have held on to that. So, in a nutshell, if you really want to clean your routine, stop focusing on difficulty and focus on execution. If you cannot execute what you already have, straight legs, sharp high V, clean dismount, if you're shaking in the air, your bases are moving all over the place, then maybe the skill that you're performing is too difficult for you, or maybe you need to slow the counts down so you can execute the skill properly. I know some people are never going to change what they're doing, and that's perfectly fine. When you go out on the mat, and your kids look unprepared and you don't get the points that you need to get, it's because to the judge's eye, it looks like, yeah, you're doing difficult skills, but you're not really doing difficult skills because you're not executing them. But if you was to scale it back and perform skills that you could hit and hit them clean, even if your difficulty is lesser, your execution would be higher. I would genuinely rather spend my time on trying to make sure what I am doing executes 10 out of 10 times than trying to make something harder just so I can get difficulty points when difficulty is out of 10 and execution is out of 15. And if you do not execute the difficult skills, you're not going to get execution points or difficulty points. Your team needs to genuinely look like they are having fun when they are performing because literally the judges see more than we think they see. They see their faces, they see their fear, they see their worries, they see if they're looking at the ground, they're reading their body language. If you give them skills that they can hit, athletes tend to have a higher confidence, especially when they are under those lights. So, for cleaning up your routine, I would definitely make sure your team are doing skills that they can hit, that they can execute, that they feel good about. And I would take at least an hour out of practice just to clean up those skills to make sure everybody knows the counts and make sure nobody's rushing and that we have time to hit those high V's, to pop our headbands, to clean, to come down, and to be sharp. That is how you clean a routine, and that is how you get those points that most people miss. And even after cleaning up, we still had some timing issues, but we are better today than we were yesterday, and tomorrow we're going to be better than we were 2 days ago. So you're not wasting time if you're cleaning up the skills that your kids can hit. You are probably wasting time if you're trying to learn skills or if you're cleaning up skills that your team cannot hit. All of your flyers need to be in the air when performing a skill that you are saying your team can hit. Because if all of your flyers are not in the air, you're not painting the picture that the judges need to see to judge you accurately. Now, if you don't want to take my word for it, that's perfectly fine. But execution wins. It is worth more. Difficulty is only 10 points. If you can only get a 6 for difficulty, but you can get a 13, 14 for execution, you are going to beat people that are going for high difficulty with low execution. Do what you have to do. Do what's best for your program. And at the end of the day, let the chips fall where they may. But if you send your team on the mat feeling good about what they're about to do, then trust me, good things will come back to you. We still got a long way to go. We still got a lot to do, and we're going to get there. But while I'm learning things as far as cleaning routines, looking at the score sheet, difficulty versus execution, I'm going to be sure to share it with you guys. And if you already know it, skip the video. If you don't know it, give it a listen, okay? Because at the end of the day, this is for us, and we get better together. And none of us are doing this for our own self validation. We are literally doing this for the kids. Do not send your kids out there with a routine that they cannot execute, because that is not going to help their self-worth. It's not going to help their self-confidence, and it's not going to be good for your score sheet. There's no reason for you to yell at kids when you're the person that gave them a routine that they cannot hit. And they've probably shown you that they cannot hit it before you put them on that big stage. Good night. Have a good one. Coach O'Neal signing out.